I was trying to think of a great introduction for this video, and I'm coming on here laughing, and I'll share with you. I sat down, started filming, and I said, today is July 5th. No, today is January 5th. And I was like, what? July 5th? So I actually saved that clip to pass off to Haley, who edits my videos, so that she can put it in the bloopers for next year. If you missed my bloopers video that I published on the last day of 2024, December 31st, I will have it linked. These are the type of things that get saved. So if you want a good laugh and you haven't watched that, check it out. I believe 5th year. I think it was the 5th year that I did that. But there's my opening. I already started out the year with a bang and a bloopers. But today is Sunday, January 5th. It is a big day for our Detroit Lions. They have a big game tonight at 8 p.m. I won't be up to watch it. I will be supporting them in my sleep, but today is a big day, and therefore, hopefully you can see it, I am sporting my, Lions shirt, which I love. Yeah, big day, big day. Very hopeful to see our Detroit Lions play in the Super Bowl this year. So, but I'm here for a little chit chat and to also share with you what I've read, yes, past tense, what I've read so far in 2025, and we're only on the 5th day, we're only 5 days in, and what I plan to read in 2025, or what I'm reading, what I've read and what I am reading currently. But before I do, I'm also today hosting the live Q&A for the workshop on parenting well, so that you have children, that you raise children to be ready to face the world. That workshop is now on the Workshops and Replay tab, so if you're interested in it, please take advantage of it. I did a short video earlier this week, which about 4 minutes long, it's doable, where I talk about my 2 goals in raising my children. I had 2 big, hairy, audacious goals in raising my children, Paul and I, raising our children. And if you want to hear what those goals were, check out that short video, and maybe that will give you some insight if you're on the fence of whether or not to take the workshop or not. So let's first dive into what I was reading in 2024 and how that applies to 2025, and then I will share with you what I've read so far in 2025. My daily word, this is for January and February. I believe I could possibly be, hold on, make sure I shut that off, on my 3rd year reading this, and I just renewed my subscription for 2 more years. So I have an empties video coming out next week, so you will see a couple of my empties, and this daily word is always for 2 months. It covers 2 months. With this publication, you are offered periodically the opportunity to take advantage of other devotionals. And I have always taken it, since subscribing to the Daily Word, I've always taken advantage of their extra devotionals. Now, if you are a subscriber of their Daily Word, they will send these to you free of charge. They do send an envelope with a little ticket if you want to give a free will donation, but these don't cost anything. I do believe if you're not a subscriber and you go to the website You can purchase these, but I think they do charge something. I don't know what it is. And I will share that this one here, Today I Am, this is a great one. I've read this twice. And Change Your Thinking, Change Your Life. I've read this one 2 to 3 times. It's in pretty rough shape. There's actually parts of it falling apart. Same with this one because they're so good. And then they always have one during the Advent season and during the Lenten season. So I always take advantage of that. So this one here, Do Not or Be Not Afraid, The Comfort of Christmas, was their Advent 2024. And then this one is also really good. I do want to read this one again. Turn on the Light, The Timeless Wisdom of Eric Butterworth. So these are great. This is continuing. It will continue probably for the rest of my earthly life. It is great. I have no desire to read any other devotionals. I've had other ones recommended. I've had gifts of devotionals, and they just don't do for me what this one does. And I only am willing to give time to one devotional right now. My daily devotional, and then whenever this other booklet is offered, I take advantage of that. So what happens is I am typically reading this every single day and a daily nugget in one of these. I will share with you, I always think of myself as not being a reader, and I think it's because my vision of a reader is someone who like sits down and they're relaxed and they really put the time in. And because the readings that I do, I don't know, I just see them differently. But I've had to come to terms with I am a reader. And while I read daily, I don't read often, if that makes sense. So I read daily. There's probably not one day in 2024. Well, I know there wouldn't be because I read this every day, and I typically am reading this every day, and I'm typically reading this every day. I'm reading daily, but I don't read what I would say books often. But we'll get more into that. So this is continuing, as well as if I have any of these in the works, which right now I don't. So that's probably a good thing. In addition, my note cards, you can see how many note cards I have now. I don't know what month I started this. Actually, let's look. Hang tight, hang tight. I am going to see when I actually ordered my note cards. In what month? Let's see. I love Amazon because you can search your history. And just so you know, I will link everything that I'm talking about. Oh, wait, these would be called, oh no, they did come up as note cards. So, wow, it shows the first time I bought these, May 12th. Okay, wow, all right, maybe, maybe. So since May 12th of 2024, here's where I'm at. Now, I will share with you that I have not added any note cards in the new year. I'm just trying to take a breather and just step back a little bit from some things. I have plenty to study. If something really powerful comes my way, I probably will add it to a note card, but I'm not putting any goals around adding to it, and I'm being very choosy in what goes on a note card. And then, as you know, I have these two cases. One is to put my note cards in that are not read for the week. So they go inside here. And the other one is when I get done reading that day's note cards, they go in the I've read container. I also have a certain pen that I use. I will have that linked, so I'll have the note cards. And then basically what I do is I try to take all of my note cards and divide them up between 7 to 10 to maybe 14 days, depending on how my week looks. I will take a stack, and then I will take a rubber band and put it around that stack, and that's the stack that I need to read the next day. So I have tomorrow's ready to go. So there's 2 daily reads, okay? We're here, and a note card. And then the daily laws, let's see when I bought this book. I bought this book on June 7th of 2024. And what I did is I originally started reading it right on January 1st. Right at the beginning of the book. And then I decided a few days in to just follow the date that we were on. So if I ordered this on June 7th, let's say by June 9th, June 10th, I started reading it. So I just went to that date because it's a daily law. So there's 1 day's reading. Just like in here, 1 day's reading. In these devotionals, 1 day's reading, which makes it very easy for me because there's no chapters. You're just reading 1 day's reading. And I can tell that that is something that really speaks to me. I do very well with that, which is very interesting because I can't wait to share a book that I read this year. So I decided just to start with the day that it was. So where am I at now? I'm going to read this entire book this year, but I started right from the beginning. So today is January 5th. I've already read it. Tomorrow is January 6th. That's where I will take off. I also want to talk to you about these leather magnetic bookmarks, which I've talked about all of this in previous videos, but I just want to talk about these a little bit more. This is the really big one, and these can also be used to wrap your cords, like a cord like this. I love this really big one for a really thick book like this. I think it is perfect. Now there's smaller ones. Let me grab one from my daily word. So you'll see, here's my daily word. And let's see the difference between the two. See how this one is smaller? They also come in different colors, and you can also get them embossed with your initials. That's probably all that you're allowed. I'm not really sure. I'll have a link. You can look on the site. But I absolutely love my smaller ones for my devotionals, like these, obviously this, or even a smaller book. Let's take a look at this book right here, and you will see that I have the smaller one, which I feel is perfect for a book of this size. So there may not be a lot of uses out of the big one, but I love it for a really thick, bigger book. So those are my 3 daily reads, and I will share with you that these daily reads right here, and if I'm including one of these all get done while I'm multitasking, while I'm typically on my treadmill, or maybe when I come upstairs to go to the bathroom, and I'll leave this in the bathroom. I'm coming up from a break from my workout because I need to use the restroom, and I may read it then. So I'm kind of reading these as I'm being productive, and I'm not, by no means am I encouraging that. I do not believe there's a badge of honor for multitasking, but in order for me to take the time to get this reading done, it works for me to do it then. And I feel like I'm on my day. So this isn't wind down reading, this is on my day. Oh, another thing, and I've shared these. I love my book lights. Okay, love these. There's different settings for how the lighting that you prefer and how bright you want the light. And I have 2 of these because I keep one upstairs for my upstairs reading when I'm just relaxing and winding down. And then I keep one down on my treadmill to give me that extra light that I need when I am doing all my other reads. So I love these, could not be without them. And you can just recharge them. They're, you put that little charger in and keep them juiced up. So now, what have I read in 2025, and we're only 5 days in? Well, I'll share with you. Okay, this book here was a Christmas gift from my second daughter, Haley's boyfriend, Vin. Now, Vin did not come home to our house for Christmas. He spent Christmas with his family. Haley came home and spent just Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. It was a very short trip. But she brought gifts from Vin, and she shared with us that Vin buys all sorts of different books every single year because he is a big reader, and he then gives books as gifts to different people, to all his loved ones and just different people that he knows, according to what he feels could be a good book for them. So he gifted this book to Kirsten and Tim. They got one. McKenna and Bobby. And Paul and me. He chose a different book for Chloe and her boyfriend Jack. One more on like starting your career. I can't remember the name of it. I'll look it up and I'll have it linked to the one that he gifted Chloe and Jack. But the rest of us got this book. Carly didn't come home, so I'm not sure if she shipped one to her or whatever. But the book is a national bestseller. Too Soon Old, Too Late Smart. 30 True Things You Need to Know Now by Gordon Livingston. I will have the book linked. Today is January 5th, and I've read this twice. I'll share with you how I did that. A book like this is worthy of reading each chapter twice. So I would say probably 85% of this book, my first time reading, I read every chapter. Basically every chapter. There's 30 chapters. I read every one twice. And that serves me really well because I pick up on things the second time around. I decided that I wanted to give it a whole new read, just to make sure I'm not missing any great nuggets. And so I am currently reading this really kind of for a third time. Now, I did skip reading a few chapters a second time because they just didn't speak to me, but they'll get a second read. Those chapters will get a second read this time. So I am probably because of days, I am 4 chapters in, and today I will read chapter 5. So as you can see, there's a pattern here. I am someone who thrives on these daily reads. So I will finish this up pretty much by the end of the month, right? Because it's only 30 days of reading. And this one I'm reading in bed at night. So it's basically, I'm in bed, no lights on, and I am using my book light. And so this one stays right next to my bed, and I love it. It is a great book. I believe it was a great choice. Haley also read it, and she and I were reading at about the same pace, and she shared she reads a lot of chapters or things twice. And I look up words. If I'm on the fence about knowing a word or I simply don't know the word, I will look that up. So that does take a little longer, but this is a great book. I highly recommend it. And then the other book that I read, which is actually not my book, this book was gifted to my oldest daughter, Kirsten, by her husband, from her husband, Tim. Now, let me share the story behind this. So, interestingly, well, let me share something real quick. You know, I'm all over the place, but I mean, people that watch my channels, they're not here for like short TikTok-y stuff. Thank God. This book is by no means 2004. This is 20 years old right here. This book is 20 years old, but it does, which I could kind of tell by some of the readings. I'm like, why didn't he bring up this or why didn't he bring up that? Well, because those took place after he wrote this. This book, When Breath Becomes Air, by, I can't pronounce his last name, but this may ring a bell. This book is from 2016, and this Paul was a neurosurgeon, actually a neuroscientist, and he wrote this book while he was dying from cancer. I don't know if that will jog any memory for you. I remember when this book came out in 2016. I remember hearing about it. I remember it being on the news. So I was very familiar with this book when I found out that Haley, my second daughter, was reading it. She shared, I think I saw it in our Amazon history because we all share the same Amazon account. And I said, oh my gosh, I remember that book. And she said, yeah. She said, I read it in 3 days. I couldn't put it down. And I said, wow, do you think I would enjoy it? And she said, I think you'd love it. I think everyone should read this book. So, okay, that's the backstory. Lo and behold, Kirsten told me that Tim reached out to our third daughter, McKenna. Sorry, this is getting long and so confusing, but we're just chatting, right? And said, I'd like to get Kirsten a book for Christmas. Do you have a recommendation? And we have no idea. We haven't had a chance to ask McKenna because I don't think McKenna's read this book. It's Haley that read this book. McKenna recommended this book. So I don't know if she reached out to Haley. She may have. We don't know. I need to find out. I'm on a mission now. Anyway, Kirsten told me she got this book, and I said, oh my gosh, I want to read it. And she said, well, I'm going to read this book first, so you can which, by the way, I think I read this in 2 days. Maybe 2 or 3 days, and I read every chapter twice. So, and now we're on our third time. So on January 2nd, yes, Thursday, January 2nd, Paul and I had a hair appointment. In June, our 3-year-old granddaughter, Kirsten and Tim's daughter, went with us to get a trim. And when we dropped her off, Kirsten said, here's this book. I know you wanted to read it. Well, I was done with this. So I went home. So we're talking Thursday the 2nd, started reading this. I finished the book Saturday morning. So that would have been yesterday the 4th. So basically from Thursday afternoon, evening to upon wake up, because I literally woke up yesterday and I just finished the book because I was too tired the night before to finish it. And I knew it was like that ending was like, ugh. So yeah, so basically 2 days, if, not even 2 full days, I read this book and it is great. It's worthy of the read. And again, this was published in 2016. So if you've never read this, let me know if you've read this book in the comment section below and what you thought. And even this one here. This is just a great little nugget. So if you're looking for something that's just a really great daily read, this is a great one. I still love my Robert Greene daily laws. Okay, we can't stop with Robert Greene. But anyway, that's what I've read. That's what I've read so far. So we're really good. I learned a couple things. Basically, Friday, I feel like I spent most of the day reading, which I learned something about myself in taking so much of my day to read. I learned something about my thoughts around reading. And I'm not going to share that because I think it could offend some people, but I'm talking just personally how I see things. We have to be careful sometimes what we share because some people take it personally and it's not about them, it's about ourselves. But yeah, I share with my daughters, but just taking a day and spending the majority of it reading, it was beautiful and it was very therapeutic, and it was a book I couldn't put down, but there was some afterthoughts that I had about spending that kind of time. It's basically where I'm going. I'm gonna leave it at that, but we're gonna take the safe route. So to kind of wrap up the chit chat, now that I've shared all of that with you, and I'm 2 hours out, a little less than 2 hours out from starting the parenting Q&A. Really not a lot more to share. I hope that, now that we're 5 days into the new year, that your year is going well for you. I'm pretty safe because I didn't go into the year with any goals. The only thing, and I can't even say this was a goal, is I am on let me just say this. With the Lions playing today, it being a big football day, am I doing anything special? No. I'm not going anywhere. I'm eating clean. The only thing that I can't say this is a goal because it's kind of part of what I do every year, year after year, but I'm having a non-celebratory January. which means that I'm not taking any celebratory meals. No food that's celebratory, no drink that's celebratory. That's what I'm doing for January. And actually, Paul is somewhat doing it. He does his own version, which to me is a cheating version. But he gets to do him. He gets to do him. And then Kirsten and Tim are also doing it with us. So it's a lot of fun. We share back and forth what we're eating. But I am following a little bit different diet. And it's pretty hardcore, but I'm loving it because it's freeing up time for me. It's very easy. And I don't mean easy. It wouldn't be easy for some people to do because you're not having any celebratory foods. It's easy in the time that it takes. I am getting a great deal of free time from eating this way. There you go. I love it because it's a lot less prep work. It's just more simple, less food, less prep, less grocery shopping, less thinking. So that's really serving me well. And that is for the month of January. And I may continue it into early February, maybe leading up to the Super Bowl. At the end of the day, everything fits, okay? Yes, the holidays are rough, but everything fits, and I celebrate that one. That's the beauty of not having a bigger size clothing. I recommend that for everyone. But no celebrating, and then, really because I don't have any goals, I'm just surviving. After last year, and I'm still just really in a dark place, coming off the year, my goal this year is just to survive, to find meaning and purpose in my life, and to continue to choose my hard through the adversities and through the struggle. If there's one thing I accomplished last year is I chose my hard, and I stayed on the plan. I stayed on the course. I defaulted in some areas, but I never threw any towels in. And so I celebrate that. I'm going to do much better in 2025 because 2024 was nothing more than a lesson for me in some of the areas that I defaulted. I am stronger, I am smarter, and I am planning to manage things much better in 2025. Letting myself go or to fall in any rabbit holes is just not up for negotiation, regardless of what's thrown my way. But that's where I'm at. That's what I've read. That's what I'm reading currently. And links to everything will be in the description box. Again, don't forget, if you're interested in the parenting workshop, that will be in the description box. And please use the comment section to share whatever you want to share. But thanks for being here and sticking it out and just sitting and chatting with me. It feels really good. So have a good one.